Introduction. Hello to all our mature and wise viewers. Today we're going to talk about a topic that concerns many of us as we age: how to keep our brains sharp and prevent cognitive decline. For decades, crosswords and Sudoku have been recommended as the go-to mental exercises. However, recent research from Stanford University and Harvard's Alzheimer's Research Center reveals that while these traditional pastimes have some value, they are not the most effective for preventing dementia. In fact, they exercise only a limited type of cognition and may create a false sense of security. Today, we'll reveal 5 scientifically proven mental exercises that are significantly more effective in preventing dementia and cognitive decline. These exercises go beyond simple brain use. They explore specific neurological mechanisms that combat the pathological processes of dementia. Let's begin. Exercise 1. Learning a new complex skill. The first and most powerful mental exercise isn't a puzzle or game, but rather the process of learning a new complex skill that involves both cognitive and motor components. Why it works: creates new neural connections in multiple brain regions simultaneously, stimulates neurogenesis, formation of new neurons in the hippocampus, increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that protects neurons, activates the brain's reward system, creating sustained motivation, combats social isolation when practiced in groups. A groundbreaking University of Texas study followed adults between 60 to 90 years for 3 months and found that those who learned a new complex skill, digital photography or quilting, showed significant improvements in memory, while those doing crosswords showed no measurable improvement. Ideal complex skills to try: learning a musical instrument, especially piano or string instruments, studying a new language, particularly with conversation component, dance classes that involve memorizing sequences, crafts that combine manual precision with planning, woodworking, pottery, observational painting or drawing, not paint by numbers. How to implement: dedicate at least 30 minutes, 3 times a week, choose something challenging but not frustrating. Seek formal instruction, in-person or online classes. Continue progressing in difficulty. When comfortable, increase the challenge. Combine with social interaction when possible. Exercise 2. Real-world spatial navigation. The second mental exercise involves deliberate spatial navigation in real environments without GPS or digital maps. This exercise is particularly powerful because it activates the hippocampus, the first region affected in Alzheimer's disease. Why it works: increases hippocampal volume, a critical area for memory formation, strengthens the grid cells in the entorhinal cortex, another region affected early in dementia, improves integration between spatial memory and episodic memory, stimulates hippocampal neurogenesis at rates superior to other mental exercises, combines physical activity with cognitive challenge, enhancing benefits. A famous study with London taxi drivers showed that those who memorized the complex city map developed significantly larger hippocampi than the general population. More recently, McGill University researchers found that adults over 65 who regularly navigated without GPS had greater hippocampal volume and better overall cognitive function. How to implement: explore new neighborhoods or parks without using GPS. Practice memorizing routes before trips and navigate without assistance. Draw memory maps of familiar areas, then check accuracy. Visit museums, botanical gardens, or shopping malls and navigate intentionally. Practice giving and following verbal directions instead of relying on digital navigation. Important tip: start in safe and familiar environments, gradually increasing complexity. Always have a phone for emergencies, but resist the temptation to use GPS unless really necessary. Exercise 3. Structured active recall. The third mental exercise is structured active recall, a systematic process of retrieving specific memories with rich sensory details. This isn't just casual reminiscence, but a specific protocol that strengthens neural networks associated with autobiographical memory. Why it works: strengthens connections between the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, activates multiple sensory regions of the brain simultaneously, improves synaptic plasticity through memory reconsolidation, creates cognitive reserve, the brain's ability to compensate for pathologies, reduces depressive symptoms, which are risk factors for dementia, Harvard University researchers found that regular practice of structured active recall for 8 weeks significantly improved episodic memory and executive function in adults over 70, with benefits persisting 6 months after the study ended. How to implement 15-minute protocol. 1. Choose a specific period of your life, e.g. summer of 1975. 2. Select a specific event from that period. 3. Systematically recall visual details, colors, faces, environment, sounds, voices, music, ambient sounds, smells and tastes present, physical sensations, temperature, textures, emotions experienced. 4. Note these details in a recall journal. 5. In the next session, try to recall additional details of the same event. Practice this exercise 2 to 3 times a week, alternating between recent and old memories. To enhance benefits, share these detailed memories with others, adding a social component. Exercise 4. Progressive divided attention training. The fourth mental exercise is progressive divided attention training, the systematic practice of performing multiple cognitive tasks simultaneously with increasing difficulty. This isn't casual multitasking, but a structured protocol that strengthens specific attention networks. Why it works. Strengthens the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, a critical region for executive function. Improves communication between brain hemispheres. Increases neural processing speed. Strengthens the executive attention network, often compromised in dementia. Improves the ability to filter distractions, a function that naturally declines with age. A University of Illinois study with 565 adults over 65 showed that those who practiced divided attention training for 10 weeks had a 48% improvement in overall cognitive function and a 29% reduction in risk of developing mild cognitive impairment in the following 5 years. How to implement progressive protocol. Level 1. Listen to an audiobook while organizing cards by suit. Count backward from 100 while drawing geometric shapes. Recite a memorized poem while walking in a figure 8 pattern. Level 2. Perform simple mental calculations while identifying categories of spoken words. Follow a conversation while drawing a memory map. Keep a sequence of 5 numbers in memory while answering general questions. Level 3. Alternate between addition and subtraction while naming animals in alphabetical order. Follow verbal instructions to draw a figure while counting how many times a specific word is mentioned. Keep rhythm to a song while solving simple logic problems. Start with 10 minutes 3 times a week at level 1. Advance to the next level only when you can perform tasks with 80% or greater accuracy. Exercise 5. Structured social improvisation. The fifth and final mental exercise is structured social improvisation. Participation in activities that require spontaneous social response within defined parameters. This exercise simultaneously combats 2 major risk factors for dementia: social isolation and cognitive rigidity. Why it works. Activates the social brain, neural networks dedicated to social cognition. Stimulates oxytocin production, a hormone that protects against neurodegeneration. Improves cognitive flexibility and adaptability. Reduces cortisol levels, a stress hormone that damages the hippocampus. Strengthens theory of mind, often compromised in dementia. Northwestern University researchers found that adults over 65 who participated in theatrical improvisation classes for 10 weeks showed significant improvements in working memory, processing speed, and cognitive flexibility, outperforming groups who participated in other structured social activities. How to implement. Theatrical improvisation classes for seniors, many community centers offer these. Structured role-playing games, collaborative storytelling groups, friendly debates on non-controversial topics, board games involving negotiation and strategic adaptation. For those with limited mobility or without access to groups, online versions of social improvisation are available through platforms like Zoom. The crucial element is unscripted social interaction that requires real-time adaptation. Conclusion. These 5 mental exercises, learning a new complex skill, real-world spatial navigation, structured active recall, progressive divided attention training, and structured social improvisation, offer significantly greater protection against dementia than traditional crosswords or Sudoku. What makes these exercises so effective is that they don't just use the brain, but specifically engage the neurobiological mechanisms that combat the pathological processes of dementia. They stimulate neurogenesis, strengthen synaptic connections, increase neurotrophic factors, improve cerebral blood flow, and create cognitive reserve. Remember, the brain, even at an advanced age, maintains remarkable plasticity, the ability to form new connections and even new neurons. As neuroscientist Dr. Michael Merzenich said, "The brain you cultivate is the brain you will have." We recommend incorporating at least 2 of these exercises into your weekly routine, ideally choosing those you find most enjoyable. Consistency is more important than intensity. 15 to 30 minutes, several times a week, will bring significant benefits over time. Next week, we'll discuss the 6 common medications that can silently harm your cognition after 65. Don't miss it. If this video was helpful, please leave your like and share it with someone who might benefit from this information. Until next time.